Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 14th November. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 15. Look at them in detail. The first one, 90% dip in stone pelting incidents in Kashmir in 2017. So this is Jammu and Kashmir Director General of Police, Mr. S.P. Vaid, who is saying that there has been a 90% dip in stone pelting incidents. Even on a Friday, when there are maximum such incidents seen on an average around 40 to 50 incidents a day, as it was seen in 2016, but now not even a single incident has taken place this year as such. So this is the credit, he says, goes to the people of Kashmir and the improvement of the situation, apart from, of course, the NIA raids and also the demonetization action taken against top militant commanders as such. Also, detention under Public Safety Act, according to him, has helped. Then next is Sonowal gives Rajnath an update on NRC process. So this is Assam Chief Minister Mr. Sonowal, who met Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh to give him the details regarding the ongoing work on updating the National Register of Citizens. So you should know about what is this NRC, National Register of Citizens. So the purpose, this National Register of Citizens needs to be updated, and the sole purpose for updating is to detect illegal migrants living in Assam. So in 2010, the Registrar General of India had notified a pilot project for updating this National Register of Citizens for the Assam region. So here now, even later in 2014, the Supreme Court asked the government to update it on time in a time-bound manner. So this update has to be completed as such as soon as possible, but then it has been seen that the deadline which has been set by the Supreme Court presently is of 31st December, but now what work has been going on has been updated on. So as you can see here, the deadline now is of December 2017. Earlier the deadline was of Jan 2016, but that was not met. So now the deadline has been extended. So till now what work has been done on this is being updated by the state government to the central government, the Union Home Minister. So this is the cutoff date actually for migrant settlers here is 25th March 1971. So those who have settled here before that are considered as citizens. Others are identified as illegal Bangladeshi migrants. So 1971, the India-Pakistan War of 1971, at that time the Bangladeshi migrants came to India when Bangladesh later became an independent nation as such. So this is actually, the updation is a process to help the state government identify illegal migrants from Bangladesh. So this has to be done. The citizenship verification has to be a flawless process, but civil society activists and minority organizations say that that is not the case. So strictly adhering to the deadline now and updating it in a fair manner is on the state government as such now. Then next is make public the Naga Peace Accord, IBOBI. So the Naga issue, we have discussed this quite often earlier. So again, it is in news because a senior Congress leader and former Manipur Chief Minister has demanded the central government to make public the peace accord. So this peace accord, which has been signed between the central government and NSC and IM, a faction of the Naga group. So this separatist group. So this peace accord has been signed in August 2015, but the peace accord has not been made public. So this demand is presently being made. So NSC and IM actually demands integration of Naga inhabited areas of Manipur, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh with Nagaland. So this demand actually of integration actually affects other states also. That is why the former Manipur Chief Minister, he said that any solution to end the Naga insurgency should be confined to Nagaland state only and not extend to Manipur. And that is why he is making this demand, that the peace accord which has been signed be made public. And this is the detail regarding the Naga struggle. So it has been going on before independence actually. 1918, the Naga club as such was formed and they wanted a separate nation for Nagas. So Naga National Council was formed in 1976 under the leadership of this prominent leader then, AZ Fizo. Then NNC also declared independence on 14th August 1947. Later, the ceasefire was signed in 1964, and such ceasefire being signed, even factions have been formed. NSC and IM and NSC and K are the two prominent factions. They have both signed ceasefire with the government as such, but NSC and K has broken the ceasefire, and Naga Peace Accord has been signed with NSC and IM. AFSPA has also been in force in Nagaland since 1958. Then next is Supreme Court terms Delhi smog life-threatening. So the Supreme Court has now sought a response from the central government and the governments of Punjab, Delhi and Haryana on what measures have they taken to counter the smog and pollution which is choking the National Capital Region. So this demand is being made. There is a need for long-term preventive measures. So this life-threatening situation which emerges because of especially stubble burning and dust due to construction activities is being questioned now by the Supreme Court as well. Also, it has stated the National Green Tribunal, which is a special tribunal for environment-related cases, and it is hearing various pollution cases as such in this matter too, is also being asked to go ahead with the hearings by the Supreme Court. Also, Uttar Pradesh government has not complied with the National Green Tribunal's order. So it had ordered ban on construction activities in NCR region because of particulate matter 10 PM10 levels going above 900. Still, the UP government has not complied with the NGT order, and now the tribunal describes the state government's attitude as mockery of the system. So this is also an issue being raised. Then next is Meerut farmers don't. Before going ahead, actually when we say NCR region, it also comprises of regions from Uttar Pradesh. So National Capital Region of Delhi also has some regions from adjoining states like Haryana, UP, etc. So they also form part of NCR. So that is why UP government has to comply with this ban on construction activity orders in this region. Then next is Meerut farmers don't burn crop stubble. They make manure out of it. So this is a special case of farmers from 50 villages in Meerut in western Uttar Pradesh. They have started this environment friendly initiative in which they are not burning crop residue. So the paddy waste, sugarcane leaves, the crop residue as such, they are used to make organic manure. And this organic manure is used as fertilizers, which also becomes cost effective because farmers then don't have to buy fertilizers. So it's also saving money also, and is friendly to the environment as well, also enriching the soil. So these are the benefits as such of having organic manure prepared from this crop residue. So this stubble burning is actually is confined to Punjab, Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh, and such models need to be implemented here as well. So you can see in a year actually they have prevented by this organic manure making activity around 22,50,000 kg of carbon dioxide they have prevented this much carbon dioxide from being released in the atmosphere. Here you can see the organic manure. What is organic manure? It's a product resulting from controlled biological decomposition of organic matter. So this crop residue, all this organic waste is put in a pit, and here the biological decomposition takes place, after which it turns into manure which can be used in farms. So you can see manure can be prepared from various wastes including crop residues. Then next is municipal areas across country exempt from highway liquor ban. Supreme Court further clarifies. So this is actually regarding the Supreme Court order. Supreme Court in December 2016 had banned sale of liquor within 500 meters along national and state highways. So to prevent accidents, which take place generally on highways, this was the decision taken by the Supreme Court. So this order is in force, but then later an NGO from Chandigarh had applied before the Supreme Court seeking a clarification because state governments were then making state highways into municipal roads. So here Supreme Court then had clarified in this July 2017 order that stretches of highways running through municipal areas are exempted. So this was the order of the Supreme Court, but then a petition was filed in Madras High Court that whether highways in other states, other regions also are exempted from the ban, or is it only in Chandigarh? On this, the Supreme Court has been, the matter was forwarded by Madras High Court to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court CJI actually said, why should the High Court think that it is only confined to Chandigarh? When an order is passed that municipal areas are exempted, it is municipal areas all across the country. So it will apply equally for municipal areas across the country. This is the clarification which has been given by the Supreme Court now. Then next is 25 lakh students tested in a survey. So this is regarding this National Achievement Survey which was conducted. So the learning outcomes are being tested here. So these have been prepared by NCRT. So these are tests in maths, language, sciences and social sciences. So students of class 3, 5 and 8 from government and government aided schools were tested for their performance. Around 25 lakh students took these tests. So this is the largest ever survey of learning outcome among school students being conducted all across the states in the country. So this test has been conducted because an NGO Pratham in its annual status of education report for rural India had said that there is a deficit in learning levels among school children. And this is especially of concern because the government, through its national, the bill passed, Right to Education Bill, as we call it, the RTE Act. So the RTE Act actually does not call for retention of students, means every student has to go to a higher grade. So when there is no retention policy in place, then students are not keen on achieving learning outcomes. So that is why testing the learning outcomes and actually finding them is being done through this survey by the government, that is National Achievement Survey. So a report card will be prepared as such district wise, and also analysis will be done on this about the learning outcomes. So the result, the finding of this NGO Pratham is shown here, that percentage of class 3 students who can do 2-digit subtraction, they were in around 36 to 27%, you can see. Simple division by class 5 students and also division by class 8 students. The percentage of students who could do this, as you can see, it's declining over the years. So that is what is being shown, that learning outcomes have deteriorated after the no detention policy. Then next is IT notice to Chidambaram kin quashed. So the Madras High Court has quashed the demand notices issued by Income Tax Department in 2016 to former Union Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, his wife, his son, and his daughter-in-law. So these notices by the IT department were actually seeking payment of tax along with penalty for income earned from a 200-acre coffee estate during the financial year 2009-10. So this actually case was taken up and the entire process was completed, files closed in 2011. So after a gap of 4 years, more than 4 years now, why is this case being picked up? So this is discriminatory, singling out members of one particular family amongst thousands of assessors, and reopening this case is being questioned here. So the Madras High Court actually accepted the appeal by the case by Union Finance Minister, and it was argued that this is actually agricultural income, and agricultural income is completely exempted from tax. But then it was said that they were, processing the raw coffee grown here and then selling it. So even in that case also only 25% of this income is subject to tax. Rest is exempted under the IT rules. So this clarification has been given by the petitioner too, and the Madras High Court actually quashed this notice by the Income Tax Department against former Union Finance Minister. Then next is Tejas aircraft capability to be enhanced. So the Indian Air Force has raised questions about the light combat aircraft Tejas's capability. So IAF is not keen on inducting Tejas in large numbers because it feels, one, the project has already been delayed for quite many years, and an upgradation is also being done to Tejas. Tejas Mk1A production is set to be beginning in 2019. Actually 43 improvements which have already been made, and also an advanced electronically scanned array radar would be installed on it. A self-protection jammer would also be installed on it, for which tender process is underway. Also refueling probe would be added so that the range of the aircraft can also increase. So this is an indigenously built aircraft. It is powered by GE 404 engine. and HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, is undertaking these enhancements. The IAF told the government that Tejas did not meet its requirements, but now we are seeing how the capability of Tejas has been enhanced as well. So here you can see this is the first indigenously designed and developed light combat aircraft of India. It was conceived, the project was conceived in 1983. The maiden test flight finally took place in 2001. And still the upgradations are being done as we see. Then next is will lead talks on Ayodhya, Shri Ravi Shankar. So this is Art of Living founder Shri Ravi Shankar, who said that he would be traveling to Ayodhya and he will open talks with stakeholders. So this is regarding the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. So on this dispute, actually the Allahabad High Court had given its order in 2010, in which it had done a three-way split of the territory among Nimrohi Akhara, Ram Lalla, the DT, and the Sunni Waqf Board. But then later in the Supreme Court, this case was reopened for hearing and the appeals are being heard now. So the Supreme Court has called for all parties coming together and finding a settlement on the issue. And Shri Ravi Shankar says he is taking this initiative to bring in a consensus. But BJP government is non-committal on this. They are not keen on Shri Ravi Shankar being involved in this matter. So we'll see, the case is also being heard in the Supreme Court. So December 5, again the case will come before the Supreme Court. So this is an initiative being taken as such by another religious leader. So here you can see Ram Lalla is actually the DT here. And this is the Ayodhya region where this disputed territory lies. So here you can see this is the area as such, and the adjacent property is actually under complete adjacent properties under the central government's control presently. Then next is Rajnath seeks insurance against bank fraud. So the Home Ministry has asked e-wallet firms and banks to publish statistics of online frauds and thefts so that customers can make informed choices before subscribing to their services. So this is an initiative taken. He has also instructed all concerned to formalize an insurance plan for victims of bank frauds, because most banks and insurance firms do not provide any such cover for such frauds. So this such insurance plan should also be in place, is being demanded now. So here you can see the online financial transactions taking place over the years has increased, and also on an average daily financial transactions have increased, especially post demonetization, and digital payment frauds have also increased. That is also the data being shown here. So this is the National Crime Records Bureau data. Then next is 415 killed in quake along Iran-Iraq border. So along the Iran-Iraq border, an earthquake of 7.3 magnitude occurred, because of which at least 415 people have been killed and thousands injured. So this was a major earthquake which struck, and also landslides were triggered post this, which hindered rescue operations in this region. So also it was felt in the adjoining nations like Turkey, Israel as well. Then next is where clashes of geopolitics, politics and economic interests intersect. So this is regarding Hambantota. So Hambantota in Sri Lanka is a theatre of India-China geopolitical conflict. So this also the political conflict within the nation is also taking place for dominance in this region. So Hambantota, which is along the southeastern coast of Sri Lanka, is actually seeing competing interests. China has already invested in the Hambantota port. Colombo has also sold a majority of its stake in Hambantota port to China recently, and India is also has offered to run a nearby airport. This is the Mattala airport. So this also initiative being taken is of significance. So both India and China are asserting their presence here. China, it considers this Hambantota port significant for its One Belt One Road initiative as well. So this is Hambantota. So this has come in news quite often and you should know about it. The next is food prices per CPI inflation to 3.58%. So retail inflation, CPI inflation for October 2017 is 3.58, increasing from 3.28% in September. So inflation has been rising as RBI had predicted as well. And core inflation. So core inflation is a term which is inflation excluding volatile commodities like food and fuel. So when food and fuel is excluded, because food and fuel is volatile, food prices vary drastically and even oil prices vary drastically. Presently we are seeing oil prices have increased to even above $64 a barrel. So they were on an average of $50–$55 a barrel over the last 18 months, and now they have increased drastically even post the purge in Saudi Arabia, as we saw by the Crown Prince. The prices of oil have increased. So this is what is also driving the retail inflation. So here you can see core inflation is also has eased marginally presently. So this is the detail shown here through the graph as well. How inflation had gone quite low in the month of June, and now it is steadily increasing, and from September, October has also seen a little increase. Then next is record diplomatic bodies UIN center. So the government has clarified that sales or supplies to foreign diplomatic missions or UN organizations will not have additional effect of any supplier's tax liabilities. So this has been clarified, and they say that the UIN, unique identification number of the recipient, so each diplomatic mission, even each consulate and embassy, so for every embassy and consulate too, there'll be two different UIN systems for a country too. So every country's embassy consulate has to take this unique identification number. So the recipients will have this number and the suppliers will have to record them. So foreign diplomatic missions are complaining that their suppliers are refusing to record the UIN transactions, and the central government has made clarification that they should record it, because for input tax credit to this UIN will be actually beneficial. So to claim refunds for the taxes paid by them. So that is why they have to register this, and there will be no additional suppliers tax liability. This is there. Also earlier too we have seen this in news that foreign diplomats say that this is actually infringing on the confidentiality of diplomatic practices, the privacy which is given to diplomats, because if they are tax exempted, so tax exemption of course is there and is upheld under GST also for foreign missions, but then the privacy and confidentiality aspect is being infringed. So this is also an issue raised by various diplomats. So they claim that India receives such benefits when for its embassies and missions abroad. So why not India provides the same to them? And the last news item is India seeks big PSU dividends to plug gap. So this is regarding the central government demanding billions of dollars in dividends from 12 reluctant PSUs, public sector undertakings, because they want the fiscal deficit target being reached. So the deficit as such, you can see we have discussed this in news earlier too, that as of September 2017, which is the mid of the financial year, and the halfway mark of the financial year, in this phase itself, the budget deficit has reached 4.99 trillion rupees, or actually more than 91% of its full year target. So whether the budget deficit target of 3.2% can be achieved by the government, 3.2% of GDP can be achieved or not, is dependent on this. So it has a deficit, and to make up for this deficit, it is demanding dividends from PSUs. So the finance ministry made an assessment of actually 14 PSUs, and it has asked 12 of them to pay between 30% to 100% of their net profits as dividends, share buyback or bonus shares. So this is how the government is also attempting to make up for the deficit which is there, because we have seen the economy as such, the government revenues have been hit sharply. The economy as such, you can see the unexpected slump in economic growth is showing, and also the central government got much lower dividend from the central bank too because of the demonetization exercise, and also businesses were disrupted last year, one because of demonetization and also presently because of GST. So this has affected the government's revenues, and now this is the step being taken. So here You can see the payout patterns over the years is also being shown, that out of the profits which PSUs make and the dividend payout which they provide to the government. So part of the profit is given to the government because these are public sector undertakings, means belonging to the government. So they pay a dividend to the government. And here you can see, so every PSU has to pay a minimum dividend of 30% of its net profit or 5% of its net worth, whichever is higher, subject to a maximum dividend permitted under the law. So here such demands have been made earlier too, and presently too such demands are being made. So these are the news items. Thank you.